My child, come here and sit with me for a while. No, don't rush, just let your breathing settle into a gentle rhythm. Allow the hum of the day, the noise and the hurry of the world outside to simply fall away like dust motes in the evening Sunday. In here, in this space, there is only you and I. My workshop isn't much to look at. It smells of cedar and sawdust and the sharp tang of linseed oil. It's a place of creation, filled with the ghosts of forgotten projects and the promise of new ones. But for me, it is a sacred space, and I want to share that sanctity with you, right here, right now. You know, I've spent a lifetime working with wood. My hands have come to know the feel of 1,000 different timbers, from the soft, yielding grain of young pine to the unbending, stone-like density of ancient oak. In my younger days, as an apprentice learning the trade, I always reached for the clean, smooth boards, the ones without knots, without any twists or complications. They were easy to cut, easy to shape, easy to sand into a product that looked, on the surface, perfect. But I came to realize something over the years. The things made from that easy wood rarely lasted. They lacked weight, they lacked depth, they lacked what I can only describe as a soul. As the seasons turned, my eye began to change. Now, I find myself searching for the very timber that others might cast aside into the fire. I look for the pieces that have been twisted by the wind, the boards with a complex swirling grain, the ones with dark, unexpected streaks running through their core. I do this because I have learned a profound secret. This is where the real story lives. A dark line in the wood might tell of a forest fire the tree survived. A stubborn knot is the memory of a great branch that reached for the sun, bearing the weight of heavy snows for countless winters. The unusual waves in the grain are a living record of the dry years when the tree had to struggle and fight for every drop of water. The world might call these things flaws, but a true craftsman calls them character. They are the proof of life, of endurance, of a beauty forged in the very heart of adversity. And when I look at you, my child, I do not see an ordinary person. I see that magnificent, storm-seasoned timber. I see the intricate grain of your soul, carved by the years you felt you were invisible, by the silent tears you thought no one saw, by the nights you clenched your jaw in the darkness, just willing the sun to rise. I see the breathtaking beauty in your resilience, a strength that you yourself sometimes fail to recognize. The world may have looked at your scars and judged you as weak or broken, but I look at them and I see an epic poem of survival. What I am about to share with you now is more than just words. It is not a random string of pleasantries. It is a deep spiritual awakening meant only for you. Just as a craftsman knows the precise moment a piece of wood is cured and ready to be shaped, the Creator knows that this is your time. This specific moment was set by a plan far grander than our own. There have been many times before when He tried to connect with you. You felt Him close in those quiet moments between sadness and hope, a sudden warmth that wrapped around you when you were all alone. But the world's noise was too loud then. The endless demands, the painful distractions, they kept you from seeing and hearing clearly. Yet He remained near, watching, waiting, and now the time of waiting is over. You are ready now. You have been tempered by your trials, and your soul has achieved a maturity required to understand these truths without being shattered by them. So, listen carefully, not just with your ears, but with your deepest self, with the very core of your being. This is not a dream. This is not something you have arranged. This is reality from Him, unfolding before you. This message has come to you today to protect you, to show you who you truly are, and to set you aside for the purpose He has always intended for you. He has decided. No more quietness, no more hiding, no more fear. As you stand here, on the verge of what He has asked of you, say that you are willing. Not as a passing thought, but as a sacred promise, a covenant between you and Him. It is a signal that you accept His plan for you, that you know your purpose, that you hear Him speaking now. And for those who have stood by you, who helped you rise, who believed for you when your own belief was gone, know that their loyalty is seen and cherished by Him. You are not by yourself. Stay close to Him until the end, because this journey will culminate in a powerful moment, one that will open what has been held back in the unseen for too long. So come nearer. What comes next will shift everything. You are more than just a body, you are a sacred vessel, and I protect what I have chosen. This truth has been the constant reality for you. You haven't been walking by yourself. Hold on to this truth as you would a lifeline. You are safe in your spirit, your feelings, your strength. This is why you are receiving this message right now, because His timing is perfect. His light has been around you from the very start, and nothing dark can change what He has said about your life. Even in your loneliest times, when your prayers felt unanswered, He was working. Truth was coming together, and now it is being shown, not to cause you pain, but to get you ready. As you hear these words, know His presence is close. This is the craftsman's covenant, my child. Just as I can look at a rough, scarred piece of timber and see the finished masterpiece within, the great Creator looks at you, with all your history and all your hurts, and sees a radiant work of art. His work is not to erase your past, but to transform it into glory. And that work, that beautiful and sacred work, begins today. We have spoken of the craftsman's covenant, my child, that sacred promise that your life, like the most precious timber, is destined for a glorious purpose. You have accepted this truth into your heart. Now, we must do the hard work. We must turn our gaze backward, not to dwell in the shadows, but to understand the nature of the furnace that forged you. Before any masterpiece can be shaped, the material itself must first be tested, purified, and made strong. We must talk about the long, silent seasons of your life, the time you spent in the crucible. A crucible, you see, is a vessel made of a material that can withstand incredible heat. It is a place of immense pressure and transformation. You put a raw, impure ore into it, and you subject it to a fire so intense it melts everything down to its liquid essence. In that fire, the impurities, the dross, the slag, the worthless bits are burned away or float to the surface to be skimmed off. What remains at the bottom is pure, strong, and ready to be poured into a new form. For a long time, my child, your life has been that crucible, and the silence was the fire. I saw you in those years. I saw you when others mistook your quiet nature for something it was not. They saw your stillness and thought it meant you didn't feel deeply, or perhaps that you were weak. They could not comprehend the vast, turbulent world that existed just beneath your calm surface. They didn't see the strength it took just to hold it all together. While they were absent, while they were judging or simply moving on, you were in your quiet space, gathering yourself piece by piece. You were discovering a resilience you never knew you possessed, a strength that wasn't loud or boastful, but deep and unshakable, like the roots of an ancient tree. The world celebrates noise. It rewards the loudest voice, the most dramatic display. Your journey was different. It was a journey inward, into the profound and often painful silence. There were days, weren't there, when your prayers felt like they were nothing more than echoes in an empty cathedral. You would speak your heart's deepest longings into the stillness of the night, only to be met with more stillness. The silence wasn't peaceful then. It was heavy, suffocating. It was a silence that made you question if anyone was listening at all. You wondered if your faith was a fool's errand, a one-way conversation with a God who had turned his back. Let me tell you about that silence. It was not abandonment. It was a classroom. In a world screaming for your attention, that silence was a divine tool to teach you to listen on a different frequency. When the external voices fade, another voice can finally be heard, the still, small voice within, the gentle whisper of your own intuition, which is the very Spirit of God speaking directly to you. The unanswered prayers were not ignored. They were invitations to stop looking for a booming voice from the heavens and to start trusting the quiet knowing that was being cultivated within your own soul. You were being taught to find your balance not by leaning on others, but by standing firm on your own spiritual center. And the tears. I must speak of the tears. You thought no one saw you in those quiet moments of grief. You believed your pillow was the only witness to your heartache, to the pain of love that wasn't returned, to the despair of giving freely and receiving nothing in return, but you were never unseen. Every single tear was seen, was known, was honored. Those tears were a form of prayer too, a liquid prayer that spoke what words could not. They were the melting process in the crucible, washing away the naivete that trusted too easily, and softening a heart that was in danger of growing hard. They watered the seeds of compassion within you, giving you a profound capacity to understand the suffering of others because you had so intimately known your own. This is one of a crucible's great secrets. The process is not just about taking away impurities. It is about creating new capacities. The very sorrows that you thought were breaking you were actually carving out deeper spaces within your heart, spaces for more wisdom, more grace, more empathy. There were times your sorrow was so profound it seemed to transcend your own experience. It was as if you were grieving for the whole world. And in a way, you were. Your sorrow often gave voice to the silent feelings of others, making you a vessel for a shared human experience. This was not a burden. It was a consecration. Think of all the doors that closed in your face, the opportunities that vanished, the relationships that ended abruptly. Each one felt like a failure, a rejection. But from a higher perspective, those closed doors were acts of profound protection. You were like a child reaching for a beautiful, colorful flame, and a loving parent was pulling your hand back. In your limited view, it felt like denial. But the parent could see the fire would burn you. The paths that did not open were keeping you from harm you could not yet see. The times you felt utterly lost were actually moments of divine placement, putting you exactly where you needed to be for the next stage of your preparation, even if it felt like a desolate wilderness at the time. You were never weak, you were being kept safe. You were never alone, you were being placed. The distinction is everything. One is a narrative of victimhood, the other is a narrative of purpose. The crucible does not feel good. It is a place of intense, unrelenting pressure. But its purpose is not to destroy, it is to purify. It was to burn away your reliance on the approval of others. It was to melt away the fear of being misunderstood. It was to skim off the dross of believing your worth was tied to what you could do or who you were with. The fire's purpose was to leave only one thing behind: your true, authentic, unshakable self, the golden essence of the soul that God created you to be. And now, my child, the temperature is lowering, the intense fire is subsiding, the time in the crucible of silence is drawing to a close. You can feel it, can't you? A quiet stillness is settling within you. But this time it is not the heavy silence of absence. It is the calm, solid peace of something that has been made whole. You have been through the fire. You have not been consumed. You have emerged stronger, purer, and with a beauty that is so much deeper than before. You are ready for the next stage. The purified gold is now ready to be poured, to be shaped by the master craftsman into a vessel of honor and purpose. The long silence is over. It is time to see with new eyes. The crucible has cooled, my child. The intense fire of your silent season has subsided, and what remains is the pure, shining essence of who you were always meant to be. The process of purification is complete. But before a master craftsman can pour that precious molten gold, before he can shape it into a vessel of beauty and purpose, he must have a clear vision. He needs a blueprint. He must be able to see the end from the beginning. This, my cherished one, is the gift you are receiving now. After the long, consuming fire, you are being given the cool, refreshing water of understanding. After the confining pressure, you are being granted the expanse of a wide open sky. You are being given the gift of clarity. For so long you have been navigating in a fog. Think of your past journey as walking through a dense, disorienting mist at twilight. Every shape was indistinct. A friendly tree in the distance could look like a menacing figure. The safe path forward was hidden, and every shadow seemed to hold a potential threat. You had to move slowly, cautiously, feeling your way forward, one uncertain step at a time. This was the landscape of your confusion and your pain, where motives were murky, intentions were hidden, and the truth was a luxury you couldn't seem to afford. You relied on guesswork, on the unreliable maps given to you by others, and on a desperate kind of hope that you were moving in the right direction. But can you feel it now? Something is changing. It may have started subtly. Perhaps it was a fleeting thought that cut through your usual pattern of worry, an uncommon dream that left you with a feeling of peace instead of anxiety, or just a quiet, unexplainable shift in the air around you. That, my child, was the first hint of dawn. It was the first pale gray light appearing on the horizon of your consciousness, promising that the long night was coming to an end. This feeling is not confusion. It is the hand of your God drawing you closer, pulling your spirit into harmony with the path He has already set for you. Now, that dawn is breaking fully. The sun is rising on your inner world, and its light is beginning to touch everything. And the first thing this light of clarity does is illuminate the past. It allows you to look back into the crucible, not with the terror of the one being burned, but with the wisdom of the survivor. You can see now with sharp relief that the closed doors were indeed protection, that the painful goodbyes were necessary surgeries to remove what would have harmed you. You can see that the silence wasn't an absence of God, but a presence so profound it could only be felt, not heard. This new light doesn't erase the past, but it redeems it. It finds the purpose in the pain, the lesson in the loss. This revelation is not meant to make you relive your pain, but to get you ready for what's ahead. More importantly, this dawn of clarity is changing how you see the present. The fog is burning away. What happened out of sight, in the shadows, is losing its power because it can no longer hide. My presence with you now is not just a comforting blanket. It is a floodlight. I offer you clarity more than just protection. Every shadowed purpose, every unseen trap, every quiet lie that was whispered against you is losing its power right now because you are beginning to see it for what it island. You will start to notice things you didn't before. You will hear a sentence from someone and intuitively understand the unspoken meaning behind it. You will walk into a room and sense the true emotional climate, regardless of the smiles on people's faces. This is not you becoming suspicious or cynical. It is you becoming discerning. Your spirit, purified in the fire, is now incredibly sensitive to the truth. The lies, the manipulations, the half-truths that you used to wrestle with or internalize, they will now feel jarring to your spirit, like a sour note in a beautiful symphony. You will simply know when something is not right. Trust that knowing. It is the compass of clarity, a gift from me to guide you. This is what it means when I say that what was hidden is now becoming visible. The darkness is being met by my light. The secret things are being opened up. This isn't for the sake of drama or retribution. It is for your freedom. You cannot navigate a territory effectively if you cannot see the traps. You cannot build a strong house if you cannot distinguish solid rock from shifting sand. This clarity is the blueprint the craftsman gives you so you can build the next chapter of your life on a foundation of truth. And with this clarity, things will begin to move forward, and quickly. The days of stagnation, of feeling stuck in the mud, are over. When you see the path clearly, you can walk with confidence. It is like the brightness of a new day, where you can finally see the road stretching out before you. And as you begin to walk in this new confidence, something remarkable will happen. People who did not notice you before will suddenly think of you. Those who doubted your strength or questioned your purpose will find themselves looking at you with a new, perhaps begrudging, respect. This will not be loud or dramatic. It will be a quiet, internal shift in how the world perceives you. Why? Because you have shifted within. You are no longer projecting the energy of confusion or hurt or seeking approval. You are now radiating the quiet, solid energy of self-possession and peace. That light, that inner clarity, is profoundly attractive and commands respect without ever asking for it. When this happens, my child, stay steady, accept it with grace. You do not need their approval anymore, but its arrival is a confirmation of the inner work you have done. This is the dawn I have promised you. It is a time where truth will shine brighter than any fear. You are rising. The weight you felt was the pressure of the transformation. The lightness you are beginning to feel is the freedom of seeing the truth. Embrace this new day. Stand tall in its light. Let it illuminate every corner of your heart, chasing out the last vestiges of the shadows. A challenging season may have come, but it is now behind you. On the other side of it lies this, my child, a great and glorious opening. You have been made pure in the crucible. Now, in the light of this new dawn, it is time to see what you will become. Now that the dawn of clarity has broken over your inner world, now that the light of truth has begun to illuminate the landscape of your life, we must talk about an inevitable consequence. Light always attracts attention. It shines not only on your path forward, but it also casts long shadows, and it can reach into the forgotten corners where things from your past have been dwelling. It is a law of the spiritual life that when you begin to change, to heal, to radiate a new kind of light, you will invariably draw the notice of those who knew you in the darkness. The shadows of your past will be stirred. Therefore, we must prepare you, not for a battle, but for a series of encounters that will test the strength of your new foundation. It is almost certain that someone from your past may reach out to you soon. This may come as a message, a phone call, or an unexpected meeting when you least expect it. When this happens, it is crucial that you understand what you are witnessing. You are not just meeting a person, you are meeting a living, breathing echo of your former life. This encounter is a test of your clarity, a final exam for the lessons of the crucible. The person who reaches out might be doing so for any number of reasons, and your new wisdom, that gift of discernment we spoke of, will be your guide. Let us first consider the possibility of a penitent heart. The person who comes back may be filled with a genuine, if hesitant, regret. They might feel unsure in their heart, plagued by a dawning awareness of their past actions. They may not have the words to apologize fully, or the courage to admit the depth of their mistake, but a part of them knows they were wrong. They will approach you not with arrogance, but with a tentative, questioning energy. They are drawn to the new light in you, perhaps hoping some of it might alleviate their own inner darkness. In this moment, your old self, the self that operated from a place of pain, would have reacted. It would have felt the sting of the old wound and lashed out in anger, or perhaps retreated in fear. It might have recited a long list of grievances, demanding an apology that the other person may be too broken to give. But you are not the same person you were. The crucible changed you. The clarity has enlightened you. Your calling now is not to react, but to respond. Do not speak out of old wounds. Instead, take a breath, anchor yourself in the peace that is now your own, and speak with the wisdom you now carry. What does that wisdom sound like? It is calm, it is firm, it does not need to prove a point. It does not seek retribution. It might be as simple as acknowledging them with a peaceful, "I hope you are well," and leaving it at that. It might mean listening quietly to their fumbled explanation without feeling the need to correct or absolve them. You will meet them not with discomfort, but with a clear knowing, a knowing that their actions, their feelings, and their journey are their own, and they no longer have the power to define yours. Let your words, and more importantly your peaceful presence, show the inner strength of one who has grown stronger through hardship, not been defeated by it. You no longer just react, my child, you stand steady. However, you must be wise, for not every face from the past returns with a noble heart. My child, you must understand that not every kind face means loyalty, and not every hand extended is meant to help. There are those who are observing your path now, not with affection, but with a toxic mix of jealousy and uncertainty. They saw you stumble, and a part of them was comfortable with that narrative. Your newfound peace, your rising light, is unsettling to them because it highlights their own stagnation. These people may also reach out. They might ask how you are, but their question is not born of genuine care. It is a probe, sent out because they hope to see you struggling. They are looking for cracks in your foundation, for a sign that your peace is a fluke, that you are still the wounded person they remember. They want to hear that you are lonely, or struggling financially, or unhappy, because it validates the story they tell themselves. Your success feels like their failure. With these individuals, your clarity must become a shield. Remember the craftsman's workshop. Not everyone who knocks on the door is invited inside. Some are only allowed to speak with you at the threshold, and some are best left unanswered. When you sense this insincere energy, this subtle hope for your demise, your response is different. You do not owe them an explanation. You do not owe them your time or your emotional energy. Observe them closely, as one might watch a storm cloud on the horizon, but do not be quick to draw them near. You can be polite but distant. You can be civil but unavailable. You are not obligated to answer their probing questions. Watch what they do, not just what they say, but all the while, you must stay firm in the truth of the person I shaped you to be. Your life itself is the only answer they require. Your continued growth, your quiet joy, your unwavering peace, these things will be a source of constant confusion to those who wish you ill, and a more powerful statement than any argument you could ever make. In both of these encounters with the penitent and with the jealous, the principle is the same. You are no longer a ship tossed on the waves of other people's emotions and intentions. You are the harbor. You are the place of stillness. You have discovered a quiet inner resilience. You are not obligated to allow entry to those who do not respect the peace I have placed within you. You have survived the crucible. You have seen the dawn. The shadows of the past may flicker at your feet, but they can no longer touch you, for you now stand fully in the light. We have spoken of how to stand steady when the shadows of your past reappear at your door. We have discussed how to meet them with the quiet strength and clarity you have earned. But confronting these figures externally is only half the work. The most profound, most transformative part of this journey happens not at your doorstep, but in the sacred, silent workshop of your own heart. After you have closed the door, after the encounter is over, there remains the crucial and often most difficult task of all, the sacred art of truly letting go. For years, you have been carrying a weight that was never yours to bear. Imagine that every hurt, every betrayal, every disappointment was a heavy, jagged stone that someone placed in a sack upon your back. With each new injury, a new stone was added. You grew so accustomed to the strain on your shoulders and the ache in your spirit that you began to believe the burden was a part of you. You learned to walk with it, to sleep with it, to live with it. But now, in the light of your new clarity, I am telling you that you have the power to set that sack down. You have the permission to simply walk away from it, leaving those stones to lie on the ground where they belong. This is the essence of what it means to let go of those who brought you pain. It is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate act of spiritual strength. It is a declaration that your future is more important than your past. You see, the beautiful new beginning that is being prepared for you cannot rest on a foundation of bitterness. You cannot build a sturdy house on poisoned ground. The clear sight and steady hand required for the work ahead can only come from a heart that is free from the consuming fire of resentment. Let us be very clear about what this letting go truly is, for the world has many confusing ideas about it. Letting go is not saying, "What you did to me was okay." It was not okay. It was a violation, a breaking of trust, a wound. Letting go is not pretending you have amnesia, forgetting the pain ever happened. The scar will always be a part of your story, a testament to the battle you survived. It is the proof of the crucible. And letting go does not, under any circumstances, mean you are obligated to trust that person again or grant them access to your life. You can forgive someone completely and still have the wisdom to never let them into your workshop again. So, what is it? It is an internal act of liberation. It is looking at that heavy sack of stones and making a conscious choice to untie the ropes and let it fall. It is for you, not for them. Bitterness, my child, is a poison you drink, hoping the other person will die, It is a rusted, heavy anchor chained to your own vessel. It doesn't hold the other person back. It holds you tethered to the rocky shores of your past, preventing you from sailing into the deep, open waters of your future. Letting go is the act of taking up a heavy tool and, with all your might, breaking that chain. This is why this burden was never truly yours to bear. The person who hurt you created the stone, but you are the one who has been choosing to carry it every day since. Releasing it is simply acknowledging that it is not your property. You can place that burden, that entire sack of stones, into my care. Let me be your refuge from it. When the memory of the hurt arises, instead of picking the stone up again and examining its sharp edges, you can consciously choose to turn it over to me. This may be a choice you have to make 100 times a day at first, but with each choice, the habit of resentment weakens and the muscle of peace grows stronger. This is an art, not an instant fix. It requires practice and understanding. You must let go of the pain with understanding. This does not mean you must understand why they did what they did. You may never understand their brokenness. It means you must understand what holding on to the pain is doing to you. It is dimming your light, occupying your thoughts, and stealing your joy. The understanding is that your peace is more valuable than your grievance. And here is the most powerful form of this art. Releasing an old hurt from someone who never said sorry. To wait for an apology is to give someone else the key to your own freedom. It is to say, I will remain in this prison of resentment until you decide to unlock the door. But the truly free soul learns to build their own key. You decide that your peace will not be held hostage by another person's lack of conscience or courage. You release them from the debt, not because they deserve it, but because you deserve to be free from the exhausting work of being their debt collector. Do not permit the suffering of the past to make you withdraw from the possibility of future connection. When you release the anchor of bitterness, you free your heart to be open once more, not to foolishness, but to the genuine, healthy connections that are waiting for you. When you clear out the foundation, you make room for me to build something beautiful. And if you do this, my precious one, if you choose to practice this sacred art, then watch what happens. Things that have kept you bound will fall away. You will feel a lightness in your spirit you haven't felt in years. The mental energy you once spent replaying old hurts will now be free to dream, to create, to love. Conversations you thought impossible will take place, because you will be able to engage without the static of past anger. You will find that when you let go of the pain, you also release the feeling of worry that so often accompanies it. It is a profound act of trust, a signal to the universe that you are ready to move on. So let it go, my child. Let it all go. Set down the stones, cut the anchor chain, and let the gentle winds of grace carry you forward. Now that you have bravely set down the burden of the past, now that you have cut the anchor chains of bitterness and resentment, you may feel a new sensation within you, a sense of emptiness. Do not be afraid of this feeling. This is not the aching void of loneliness. This is the clean, quiet emptiness of a freshly cleared field. It is the emptiness of a workshop swept clean of old debris. It is a sacred space, a cleared foundation, and it is here that the most joyful work begins. This, my child, is the sacred work of rebuilding your inner sanctuary. A sanctuary is a holy place, a place set apart, a place of peace and protection. In the ancient world, they would build high walls around their sacred places, not to imprison what was within, but to protect it from the chaos and profanity of the world without. The first step in rebuilding your own life is to construct these sacred walls. These walls are your boundaries. For too long, you may have believed that having no boundaries made you a kind or loving person. You now know the truth. Boundaries are not selfish. They are an act of profound self-respect and stewardship. You are the guardian of the precious peace that was forged in the crucible, and you must now watch over the stillness you carry inside as if it were very precious. This means you are not obligated to grant access to everyone who demands your time. Your time, your emotional energy, and your attention are sacred resources. You now have the wisdom to choose who is allowed past the gates of your sanctuary. You must create your own quiet space, both externally and internally. Let the area around you become a special place, a reflection of the peace you are cultivating within. Care for it as something holy. This may mean decluttering your home, spending time in nature, or simply carving out 15 minutes each day for absolute silence. You must make space for stillness, for in that stillness, you will find that my presence with you is what holds you steady, not just when life is hard, but especially when it is easy. Once the walls are built and the inner garden is being tended, you can begin the joyful task of choosing who to invite inside. A sanctuary is not meant to be a fortress of isolation. It is meant to be a place of true, life-giving connection. But you will no longer approach relationships as you once did. Your ties to others must now be something you consciously choose, never something you desperately pursue. You are no longer looking for anyone to simply fill the space. You are looking for those who resonate with the sacredness of the space itself. So, how do you know who belongs in your sanctuary? You must look for those who truly recognize you, not just for what you do or how you make them feel, but for the essence of who you are. Look for those rare souls whose own inner light is not threatened by yours. You must select companions who appreciate the good you have and aren't lessened by it. These are the ones who can celebrate your victories without a hint of jealousy, the ones who don't need to lessen you to feel better about themselves. Pay close attention to character. Look for those whose deeds show honesty even when no one is watching. These are the people of integrity, whose inner and outer worlds are in alignment. Their presence will feel like a peaceful harmony, not a chaotic drain. Trust your purified intuition. If a relationship feels like a constant pursuit, if you feel you must perform or exhaust yourself to keep their attention, let it go. If someone doesn't value the worth I have given you, the worth that was refined in fire, then they simply do not merit your calm focus. And now I want to tell you about a special kind of connection, a gift I am preparing for you. In this new season of your life, you will not be alone. I am preparing someone to be with you, or perhaps they are already close by, waiting for the perfect moment to be revealed. This will not be like the connections of your past. This person's heart has also been softened and made wise through their own trials. Their deepest desire will not be to alter you, to gain your admiration, or to take from you, but simply to walk alongside you with true regard. This person will be a balm to your spirit. They will offer calm when you face troubles, and most importantly, they will see you. They will see not only how strong you are, but they will also have the tenderness to see the marks left by your hurts. With them, you will not have to hide your scars. They will be understood as part of the beautiful story that shaped you. When they meet you, they will feel a sense of belonging, a feeling of coming home. When this happens, my child, I need you to be brave. Allow it to unfold. The temptation will be to retreat, to build the walls of your sanctuary too high, to let fear block what I have brought to you. Do not close yourself off because of things that happened in the past. Your new clarity will allow you to tell the difference between the connections that drain and the one that is destined to restore. Trust me in this. For when I send someone to you, my child, you are always changed for the better. This is the work before you now. It is the joyful, deliberate work of building, choosing, and cultivating. You are the master builder of your own life, with me as your guide and architect. You are building a sanctuary where peace is the foundation, wisdom is the walls, and true, honorable love is the light that fills every room. This is no longer a dream. It is the very framework of your new reality. Now that you have bravely undertaken the sacred work of rebuilding your inner sanctuary, now that you have swept the foundation clear of bitterness and have begun to erect the strong walls of wisdom, you might stand back, look at this new quiet space and wonder, what comes next? How will this new house be filled? The answer, my cherished child, is that the master builder who guided your hands will now become the divine furnisher. He will not fill your new life with the rickety, mismatched furniture of the past. He is preparing to furnish it with a glory and abundance beyond what you can presently imagine. This is the season you have been prepared for. This is the season of divine restoration. Let me tell you about the nature of this restoration, for it is unlike anything the world can offer. A restoration is unfolding for you, but this isn't merely receiving what was lost. It is about making things whole again in a way that is more beautiful than before they were broken. In the East, there is an art form called kintsugi. When a precious ceramic bowl is broken, the artists do not throw it away. They painstakingly piece it back together using a special lacquer mixed with pure gold. The finished piece is not only functional again, but the golden cracks that run through it are seen as a beautiful and essential part of its history. The bowl is considered more valuable, more resilient, and more beautiful because it was broken and lovingly repaired. This is the nature of the restoration that is coming to you. Nothing you lost was truly lost from my sight. The trust that was shattered, the hope that was stolen, the years that felt wasted, I gathered up every single fragment. What was taken came back to me, and in my workshop, I have been holding it, safeguarding it, and perfecting it. And now, it returns to you, transformed, stronger, safeguarded, and multiplied. The love you will experience will be deeper because you know the pain of its absence. The peace you will inhabit will be more profound because you have weathered the storm. The joy will be more vibrant because you have known the depths of sorrow. Your golden scars will become the very source of your radiance. You must understand that what is coming for you is not just the same cycle repeating. You are not trapped repeating the past. The old patterns of disappointment, of abandonment, of not enough, have been broken in the crucible. You are stepping onto a completely new path, a higher road. The journey of your life is now destined for elevation. And here is the most beautiful alchemy of my divine economy. What was intended to cause you pain will become for your benefit. The very stones the enemy threw at you to bury you will become the foundation stones of the palace I am building in your life. The betrayals that taught you discernment, the loneliness that taught you to rely on me, the struggles that forged your character, all of it will serve your elevation. And this elevation is already beginning, in places you cannot yet see. Even now, your name is being spoken in places you haven't visited. In the unseen realm, preparations are being made. Blessings are forming in areas unseen by you. Just as a farmer plants a seed and trusts that life is stirring in the dark earth, your acts of faith and endurance have planted seeds that I have been watering. Hearts are being prepared to receive the genuine person. You are the one who no longer hides, who no longer shrinks, the authentic soul who emerged from the fire. This leads to a fundamental shift in your identity. In your past, you were often an observer of other people's blessings, hoping one day it would be your turn. Now, that dynamic is changing. You are not simply observing wonderful events. You are becoming the channel through which wonderful events occur. Your life will become a conduit of my grace. The peace you carry will calm the storms in others. The wisdom you've gained will become a light for those lost in the fog. People will be drawn to you, not for what they can get, but for the palpable sense of hope and authenticity you radiate. Those who doubted you, those who dismissed you or wrote you off, will now see me raising you, and they will have no explanation for the grace and favor that surrounds your life. I want you to be watchful and expectant, for this is not a distant, abstract promise. This restoration has a timetable. Get ready, because in the next 10 days, a moment I have planned is coming. It might seem like a usual thing, a spoken word, a written note, someone talking to you, but it will be special, a moment I have set up. It will be a key that unlocks something that has felt closed. It will show you something you did not know. It will move things along for you in a significant way. When this sign appears, and it will be too specific to be a coincidence, recognize it as the first piece of golden furniture arriving for your new sanctuary. This restoration will touch every part of your life. It is the promise of a deep, lasting joy that isn't dependent on circumstances. It is my unwavering blessing, a state of favor that you can rest in. It is the promise of more than enough that doesn't wear you down, but instead equips you to be a blessing to others. This is your inheritance, my child, paid for by your tears and your trust. You have been through the crucible. You have seen the dawn. You have confronted the past. You have learned to let go, and you have rebuilt your sanctuary. Now, stand at the doorway of that holy place and watch. Watch as I furnish it with a future more beautiful than the past you have finally left behind. We have walked a long road together, my child, through the many rooms of your heart and your history. We sat together in my workshop and understood that your life, like the most precious timber, was chosen for its character, forged in struggle. We journeyed through the intense heat of the crucible of silence and came to understand its purifying purpose. We watched as the dawn of clarity broke across your inner world, allowing you to see the truth. We stood with you as you confronted the shadows of the past, and then we worked together on the sacred art of letting go. We have drawn up the blueprints for your inner sanctuary and celebrated the profound promise of divine restoration. Now, we arrive at the final and most important chapter. After all the healing, all the learning, and all the promises, one question remains. How do you live, day by day, as this new person? The answer is simple, yet it will require the rest of your life to master. You are to live authentically. You are to live as the genuine self that I formed when it was just us, the one I named before creation existed, the one whose destiny cannot be erased. Think of your life as a grand and beautiful symphony. The early movements were perhaps written in a minor key, filled with the dissonance of pain and the slow, sorrowful notes of loneliness. But the crucible, the clarity, and the healing have introduced a profound shift. The key has changed. You are now entering the triumphant, major key movements of your life's great composition. The music you make from this day forward is meant to be a reflection of this inner transformation. This is what it means to live authentically. This entire communication, from the very first word we spoke, was intended for this single purpose: to stir you, to awaken you to this genuine self. For too long, you may have played a smaller tune to avoid making others uneasy. You may have dimmed your own brightness to fit into shadowed rooms. You may have remained silent about your deepest convictions to keep a false peace. That is over. You were made to push against the shadows simply by being. Your life is meant to be a symphony, not a single timid note. So how do you conduct this beautiful music each day? It begins with the sunrise. Before you turn to the world, before the noise of the day can rush in, you must begin each day in my presence. Turn your heart to me and consecrate the day by speaking truth over it. You can say, "Today I walk with my Lord. Today I see clearly. Today I live as one he has set apart." This act attunes your heart, like a musician tuning their instrument, to the key of peace and purpose before the performance begins. Next, you must practice the sacred pause. Throughout your day, you will be faced with countless choices, conversations, and provocations. The old you would have reacted instantly, driven by old hurts or ingrained fears. The new you is invited to pause before acting quickly. In that pause, you must look closely at why you choose to act. Ask yourself, is this action driven by the memory of my old wounds, or by the quiet understanding that God has settled deep inside me? This single practice will save you from countless detours and heartaches. It is the practice of living intentionally, not habitually. Let your daily existence become a testament to a deeper reality. Your authenticity will not be proven by grand statements, but in the small, consistent notes you play throughout the day. It will be seen in the gentle word you offer to a stranger, in the act of releasing an old grudge against someone who never apologized, in finding a moment of stillness without the nagging burden of feeling inadequate, in giving assistance without any need for thanks or recognition. That is where my light is seen most brilliantly through you, in your quiet authenticity, your steady composure, the deep gladness that doesn't need a specific cause. My child, I know you still have fears. I know there are rooms in your heart where worries wait. You may worry about your finances, about your future, about being alone. Hear me now. You are guarded, kept safe, and held gently in arms that never let go. I want you to release all those concerns and place them in my care. You live in my hidden refuge. You rest under my strong shield. Nothing and no one can take you from my hand. When the path ahead seems unclear, remember that I am already in your future, and my power is always sufficient to lift you, sustain you, and hold you firm. You are not returning to how you were before. You are not moving backward. That former self is gone. In its place is the true you, shaped by difficult times, surrounded by my favor. You will now walk ahead with the deep peace that comes from knowing this truth. You were never unprotected. You were always held secure by my presence. So go now, my cherished one. Go into the life that has been waiting for you. Go not afraid, not hurrying, but with the quiet certainty of one who knows their path has been prepared. The master craftsman is not just the one who built you. He is the one who walks with you every step of the way. I go ahead of you to clear the path, and I walk beside you as your constant companion. Your symphony is just beginning. Let the world hear the magnificent music of a life lived in authentic, courageous, and beautiful truth.